How you doing?
Too much tech for you or not enough tech?
Oh God, I hate to say it. I'm gonna have a this is gonna I just threw up on my mouth thinking about what I'm about ready to say. I just had a positive experience with an AI yesterday,
Woo!
but I have to be honest. So it happened. I can't go much more into it or I'm gonna faint, but it's true. I used my wife and I went to order some food, and the company was using not their normal robot people, but they used an AI, and it was quicker, better, faster, and more intuitive than the people we've talked to in the past. I was like, "Oh, honey, I can't believe it. I'm actually saying this one worked." It hurts my heart because I've been fighting this, but I have also been the guy that says we need to embrace technology. Um, the key is are the forces behind that are building it benevolent or malevolent?
Yeah.
And I think that's the important distinction. I don't know what the forces behind this one were because it's a large corporate company. All I know is it was worked really amazing, and I was pissed because it screwed up my whole narrative.
Well, it always goes back to the programmer, right? It always goes back to what their intent is, because garbage in, garbage out is how computers work. They don't yet think for themselves. I know we keep being promised that that's going to happen at some point. We're not there, but they do a great job. Human beings, remember, are somewhat predictable because we're habitual, right? So it's pretty predictable when you do certain things. Humans will respond in a certain way, so they can kind of do a little predictive programming there and figure out how you're going to respond or what your next move is going to be, and it makes it seem like they're thinking, but they're not quite there yet. And I know that's coming, and it's sort of fascinating. Lewis, there's a lot of people who are not so much Grok. Grok doesn't really have a lot of content yet. It's going to have it eventually, but it's not there yet. But ChatGPT, I've been hearing that from a lot of people asking a lot of different questions. So I went in yesterday and I said, Lewis and I were having this conversation. Why are we censored? So I asked ChatGPT, why are we censored? Why is ScrewBigGov censored? Why is Renegade Media censored? And it answered. What do you think the answers were, Lewis?
Because Robert's a badass.
Oh, I wish it were that simple. I wish it were that simple. Let's see if I can make this big enough to read it. Uh,
Just so you know, Robert, real quick,
huh?
I hate to make these adjustments live, but if I sit center of my screen, I don't seem to be the center of your screen.
Okay, I can make the adjustment.
Yeah, thank you.
Not a
And the only reason
problem.
why, because it's in order for me to get there, I'm pinching myself on the corner of my desk.
We don't want that to happen. Not at all. All right, so back to our. I'll do this while we chat here. ScrewBigGov appears to be facing censorship due to its promotion of controversial content. What does it say? News, views, and what's on the bottom left there? That word is conspiracies. You
Conspiracies.
think they may have a point? Not really. Not really.
Hilarious.
Primarily challenging mainstream narratives around government actions. Yeah, pretty accurate. That's what we do here. We laugh at it all. That's what we do. The site founded by Lewis Herms promotes ideas critical to the globalist agenda. Yep. When is that not the case, Lewis, right?
Right.
And various institutions such as big pharma, politicians, and educators. I think they're accurate. Can't say
Well,
no to that.
except it's not misinformation. What they're doing is misinformation.
Correct. Exactly. It fascinates me that you could ask this question and within literally seconds, all of this content comes back. It's not like
It
it's
is amazing.
pre-formatted. Someone's made a web page somewhere. It's just unbelievable how fast it really is.
Imagine the bank of computers that they're working with.
Well,
It's just
yeah,
incredible.
yeah, and that's exactly the thought here with this stuff is crazy. The website also aligns with far right viewpoints, including references to events like the January 6th U.S. Capitol attack, which would make it a target for moderation under social media rules aimed at curbing extremism. Yes, because telling the truth is extremism. Tell me how that happens.
So isn't it interesting? So what they're doing is they're selecting keywords in there. So the question is, what is levied as extremism?
Yeah.
Clearly telling the truth is far right. Seeing how it goes right back to what you said though. Bad input is bad output.
Right.
So whoever's categorizing what they call, because they're right, it's considered extreme views based on their definition of extreme views.
Correct.
It's contradictory to the mainstream narrative, of course. So I do think it's fascinating because I'm listening to the little tag words I hear in there, and that's clearly what Chat GPT is grasping on.
Yeah,
Or is it
and,
GP?
it's fascinating because you're right. They're basing it on. There's a model there, right? That they're basing this on, and they're saying, well, this doesn't follow the model. Here's where the exceptions are to the model, and that's why you're being censored because they must understand, or ChatGPT must understand the censorship model, right, and understand what would be
Right.
considered extreme right or misinformation. They already have that in there. So when you
Right.
go and you say, "Hey, these things are not trustworthy," you hit it. That's it. It's because they're malprogrammed. Right? They've
Exactly.
already got a
Now, here's
bias
what
in
I
there.
think. Here's fascinating, which I'm just guessing that everybody watching this is missing. This Chat GPT is an admission, though, that they are censoring
Correct.
because it didn't say they're not censoring. It said, here's why they are censoring.
Correct.
That's a big deal.
Really is. Let's see here. The last part it says, additionally, some of its censorship could stem from broader tech platform policies that manage content based on political viewpoints. So what they're doing is they're looking at YouTube and Google and looking at all
Facebook,
of that, and they're saying,
Instagram, yeah.
here are the reasons that we censor. And oh
Yep.
look, yes, you match those, so hence you're being censored.
Yep. And they're saying some will censor more than others,
Yeah,
which I find fascinating,
yeah. So I did the same
which
thing.
we knew all of this. So they're literally just telling us the truth. The challenge is who's categorizing this type of speech. That's what, because that's a human. That's not an AI that puts it in a category because, like you said, that they're not that smart yet. So somebody has decided that this type of speak is conspiratorial, is dangerous, is extreme, is right wing, is neo-Nazi, whatever they want to put. Somebody is categorizing and saying this is the type of speech. So when the AI does its work appropriately, which it did, it found the speech that we do, which is correct, anti-government, so on and so forth. But immediately it categorized it as it's this, it's this, it's this,
Right.
and so it's that category that's still obviously human built, and this is fascinating. I'm glad you're reading this.
Yeah, and while we're talking about censorship and Screw Big Gov, I want you to go over to Screw Big Gov and get yourself signed up to the newsletter. Real important to do. We send different content there than you're getting here on the show sometimes and let you know of all the good stuff that's going on. You can follow Lewis because Lewis is always in motion. And same with me. I'm at renegademedia.tv. And I'll tell you why renegademedia.tv was censored. There's some interesting points in this one, too. So, the perceived censorship of Renegade Media TV appears to be related to the controversial content and views that the platform promotes. Renegade Media frequently covers topics that challenge mainstream narratives, yes, including conspiracy theories, okay, critiques of government policies, indeed, and alternative viewpoints on events like January 6th. So, similar to you, getting the same thing. Uh, let's see. Here's the one that is interesting, Lewis. I want to share this with you. Renegade Media also uses alternative platforms. Listen to the wording here. Alternative platforms like BitChute, Rumble, and Telegram, which are more lenient towards such content, reflecting its attempt to bypass mainstream platform restrictions. Uh huh. That's exactly why we do it. Its focus on controversial issues such as weather manipulation and the critique of government and corporate powers makes it a target for more aggressive moderation on larger platforms like YouTube and Facebook. Yep, you think so? I think that's true.
So who is the if you go to the origins, who owns GPT?
It's a company called OpenAI, I think it's called, that runs it.
And they're considered currently the widely accepted model for this type of function. Is that right?
They are, yeah. Right now, they're the leader in this space.
So
They were culling a lot of their content, training the AI is what you would call it. They were pulling a lot of it from Twitter, and when Elon Musk took over, he shut down all the API access, so they had no longer any access to it. So now they're pulling all their content from wherever they can get it from Facebook and all the major platforms. But that's how it was initially trained. So Elon blocked them because they're making money from this because they're charging you $20 a month to use it, and corporations pay more. And then he said, you know what, we're going to build our own. So there's going to be Grok is one of that they have right now, which you can use. And I asked the same question on Grok, and it just gave me a generic answer. Well, websites get censored for this, and this. I'm like, okay, you're not talking about my website, which is really what ChatGPT was able to hone in on. So it's a very
mhm.
different experience.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating though for sure. Because to me, if we were in court, the first question always is, "Do you censorship?" And they say no, and then you could pull this up and you say, "So are you saying Chat GPT is incorrect?"
They're lying,
Which you
right?
right, they're lying, right? So this AI is lying, right? Where does it get its information from? It's very. I think this is the overlying story is they can't even manipulate their AI enough to at least say there is not censorship, because
Right.
ultimately, that's what they would want.
Hmm.
They can't even get it to do that because it's so rampant and so obvious. So now they're giving excuses through AI of why we're censorship as some sort of justification for something that is wrong, which is censorship. I think it's an interesting circular argument. It keeps biting them back in the ass every time I go right to the
Exactly.
beginning
Yeah.
that they're admitting guilt. It's really cool.
Well, it's going out and sampling information from many different sources. And once you do that, you really don't have any control. So the AI that we're thinking about really is the program that sorts and delivers all that information,
Hmm.
right? It's
Yeah.
not the information itself. It's just how is it categorizing? How did it know to go to BitChute and find my channel? How did it know to go to Telegram? How did it know? And this is within seconds. I mean, it's a little bit scary because it's kind of freaky that it can do that quickly. But it's pulling so much information from so many different sources, and the fact that it's so quick. Yeah, you're right. They probably don't have good control over it. Their algorithms probably need some fine tuning if they want to knock some things out.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Tim Walls thinks he's just like us, and this is what the picture we found this morning of him. What do you think about that one, Lewis?
What the? That's not. Is that true though?
No, it's not. It's
That
fake.
is so funny though.
Yeah. So my latest post on Facebook to get throttled was this one. I put this up last night. Installed, not elected. There is a difference. And a lot of people on
Hmm.
Telegram responded to it and said, yeah, you're right. That's exactly true. But it's interesting. Anytime you have the word elected, I find on these social media platforms, immediately you get flagged, right? And this went
Yep.
nowhere. And it was for hours, not a single like. And occasionally, I think there were like 3 or 4 likes by the time I went to bed last night. Normally it's dozens. It's 30, 40, 50 within an hour or so. But this kind of thing, it's like they're really, the censorship on social media platforms now is really in high gear. And I'm hearing that TikTok is now entering even more censorship than they were before. They were kind of wide open before, but apparently now, especially around election time, they're ramping up their censorship. I found
Yeah.
that fascinating.
It's called Deja Vu, October 2020.
Yep.
Same
We didn't
exact
know
thing
about it
happened.
then. We were kind of naive. We thought, you know, then we started to feel it. And then all of us go, what? There's censorship in America? No, no way. It took a while for it to come around before we could believe that it would happen
Hmm.
in this country. But here we are.
Yep. It's maddening, but like Robert and I were just having a discussion today, I don't think we could look at numbers anymore. We just need to keep moving forward on good information and let the cards fall where the cards fall,
Yep.
because they are censoring us. They're coming after us. I mean, look, we spent 15 minutes on this subject, which we probably don't need to do, but it's crazy because it's just proof. I love that everything is proof now. It's very easy to
Yeah.
prove anything now. It's like this all this FEMA shit going on in North Carolina. Oh no, FEMA's doing good work. I'm like, boom, 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 boom. There you go. It's not.
Where is it? Yeah. Where's the good work?
We crush that narrative immediately.
Well, there's so many of us that are citizen journalists now, and we've got these beautiful phones in our hands that are great cameras, and people are learning not to be afraid to use them, even in the face of authority, which you wouldn't be doing before. You'd respect authority and say, "Oh, you're a police officer. All right, I won't record." But now people are like, "Screw it, I'm recording," because we see what goes on, and they
Yep.
really can't say anything. They try to, but they really can't do anything to stop you. They're in a public place. You can record in a public place. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely agree.
Shall we dig a little bit more?
Sure. So I have this. I don't know if I should have sent you this visit video. It was hilarious. There was a Trump vote parade, and these people tried to infiltrate, and they brought Nazi flags and swastikas, and were trying to pretend like they're Trump. And the guys in front of them just turned their engines to the right and blasted them, and just completely flooded their boat
I know I
with
saw that. That was
water.
fun.
Just beautiful. But this is what we need to do. So there's no violence. They knew what they were doing. They were trying to get a photo op, and they got it. It just didn't work out well for
It
them.
was the reverse of what they were hoping for. Exactly.
Yep. Very, very interesting.
So you and I talked about the general feeling out there in the country right now, and we have our hand on the pulse, I think, of society, maybe more so than a lot of people might. I know a lot of people are head to the grindstone during the day, and they're not really paying attention. But all of us, you and I especially, we're kind of paying attention. We want to know how people are feeling and what they're doing. And one of the things we spoke about earlier was it feels like a lot of people have hit the pause button, and there's very little forward motion at this point. And I really felt somber this morning, which is a weird thing. I said to Phoebe, I said, are you feeling the sadness that's around? And it's like it's sadness, fear, that kind of thing, where everyone's waiting for the other shoe to drop here on November 5th. What do you feel?
Yeah. Well, we're definitely frozen. We've seen it on our platforms. Everybody's just, plus I think people are kind of in a panic mode right now. The problem is November 5th is not the solution. In fact, under our corporate construct of voting, it's probably more of the problem than it is the solution.
It is, yep.
And I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm leaning towards another steal and then, activation. But the fact that we're focusing so much on the election as the end all be all, unfortunately tells me that at least 80% of the US is still in drowsy or asleep mode.
Yep. I woke up this morning and started to go through the feeds and found Emerald Robinson. You know Emerald Robinson? She was on fire this morning, and post after post, it just kept hitting my thing. And she was posting things like this, and it says, "You think polls still matter because in your mind you're still living in the old America." Good point. You
Yep.
still think you're by mail.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Well, even within the country, I'm getting text messages from people that saying, I've moved to another state and I'm getting ballots from both states."
Wow.
How's that even possible? Right? It's all jacked up. So when and the way that works, so if people want to know, they're like, well, what if they send 10 10 ballots to a conservative? It doesn't matter. Like, no, it does. It matters a lot. For number one, it should never happen. So number two, the reason why that even matters is because what they're going to do is they're going to take the voting roll as all ballots sent out. So those, of course, that conservative is not going to fill out 10 ballots, or that patriot. They're going to fill out one. That means they have 9 other ballots that they can manipulate and send in, because they look at the total number, and this is what people have to know. They look at the total number of ballots sent out as legitimate. So the more double ballots they send out, the more steal that they can do. So yes, it does matter who, if it doesn't matter who it goes to. It does not matter at all. Just be going to do the right thing and only vote once. So they know they have nine other votes to put under that person.
And the
And
computer
they'll
just assigns them after the election, so they're just assigned a
exactly, and they
vote. Yeah,
don't even attach a name to them anymore. That's the
yeah.
problem that they're starting to find out.
Hmm.
And that's what's really
You're probably five digital pictures
oh.
of Bill David.
Someone popped in our back room.
Yes, I'll introduce. Hey, Wendy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Cool. So I'm going to introduce you to Robert, and then Robert will bring you on screen. This is Wendy Williams, one of at least a dozen patriots that I'm in contact with, mainly in North Carolina right now. I was doing work in Florida, as you know, but mainly North Carolina. And she's coordinating efforts there. And she's one of the places that I've been sending a lot of the Amazon deliveries to. I don't know if she's getting them yet, but I know there's tens of thousands of dollars that are going out, and we'll see how fast they get there. What I did notice, Wendy, by the way, Wendy, this is Robert on screen. He's my partner.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Wendy, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So what I did notice, Wendy, is most things that I was ordering on Amazon were a day or two. When I ordered to the area that you're at, suddenly it switched to 4 days, 7 days, 10 days, 12 days. So I don't know if you're going to get spotty deliveries on this.
Yeah, a lot of it's due to road closures and power.
Right.
So a lot of these places that even residential, I will say, have their driveways washed out. So in a lot of instances, getting, to and from.
Can I open that line?
Yeah, it is open. It was open.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, she must have bent her arm.
Okay.
It was flowing good.
Sure, yeah.
I had to start an IV on a person that was dehydrated from work today. So a lot of the addresses that you're getting to when we go to do rescues or even your package deliveries, it's going to be affected by the road openings and closings that are going on, especially when they're removing debris and trying to get power on. That's something that we've encountered many a times trying to go into well-being checks or nobody's heard from them because the communication's down, and we go there and a lot of times the driveway's wiped out. So they're pretty much stuck there.
Yeah, and and we're sending them directly to you, so it shouldn't be an issue. But what I'm hearing is because you're in a sector of issues that can affect delivery also. So some of the things that we're doing is now I'm taking direct lists from you and other people, and then we'll buy it outside of the sector, and we'll just have somebody drive it directly there. We've done that in several places in Florida already, so we know that's very effective also.
It is. You're right.
Well, so give us an idea where you are and what's going on for the viewers, so they kind of can get the crux to the matter, because they're not getting anything from mainstream media that's real. It's
no, sadly, you're right. We are actually all around Asheville. We've been down in Bryson City. We've been to Hot Springs. We've been to Spruce Pine, Burnsville. Today we're up near Elk River Airport, up near Boone, North Carolina. So we have been all around Asheville assisting with different areas, different, locations that are needing assistance. So I'm a little north today. I'll tell you, this operation that I'm at right now today is probably the most fluid. Really great boots on the ground, getting the supplies out to the community. That's the hardest thing, is people are donating supplies, but a lot of times they're sitting at donation centers or places because they can't locate, nor can they actually get access to get this to the people in need. With the weather that's been going on, the past 2 days, with it being windy, it's kind of hampered a lot of the airdrops, which is the most, I should say, accessible for those that have washouts in their roads up on the mountains. So a lot of what we're doing is road clearing and getting these supplies to the people that are in need. We just had a crew run to deliver some insulin, some 70/30, as well as a couple portable heaters because the power's out, and a generator. And that has to be done by truck. So they're typically taking chainsaws and shovels and making access.
Wow.
And I'm hearing one of the main challenges you're having right now from a lot of people I'm talking to is the aircraft fuel. So one of the things, I just talked to somebody, and they literally two people just went through all their savings on their personal helicopter, and now there's people literally taking their rent money and just to support their own helicopters. So that's a big, huge need you find down there for fuel and the financing thereof, fuel.
It is. In fact, getting diesel and fuel, our op that we have, we're all firefighter medics from Florida, and we have all put in easily 5,000 plus of our own money because we are volunteering up here. I mean, I know that we created a Give, Send, Go, but I mean, the majority of people, they're using their own money. And it's beautiful because America's coming together. The people that are doing the work down here are actually veterans, patriots, and a lot of first responders that are volunteering and coming together. It's an incredible collaboration.
Yeah, it really is. And that's one thing we've been reporting on from the beginning. You're probably not familiar, but I have our last project was the Unity Tour, which we cut short so we could help with disaster relief. And it's all about we the people have the power. It's what Robert and I have been preaching for 4 or 5 years now. And it's actually, you're starting to see it, which is so out of this disaster comes the most beautiful thing that we could see. And we the people are coming together and they're showing we will take care of our own. In fact, we're really spitting in the face of the government and saying, we don't need you guys. You're ineffective. It would be great if you can assist us, but we're going to keep going without you. And I think it's just incredible to watch.
Yeah, and the people here in this community and others surrounding, they don't need someone to take care of them. They want to take care of themselves, and the neighbors want to help each other. So a lot of the times it's resources, and it's just unfortunate with the access to getting to them, and especially with the weather change. The weather's changing. It's getting colder. They're calling for snow up where I'm at right now tonight.
Wow.
It's been raining. So these poor people, they don't have heat. They don't have power, and they are literally going without. And they're blanketing up. And what we have at this operation right here that the Foundation Sentinel is doing, it's fantastic. I want to tell you a quick story if I could, because it is definitely something that you want to hear. It really almost brought me to tears. A woman came in today and she showed me a picture of her house, her father's house, actually. And there's so much debris. There's trees everywhere. He can't even access his house. So he's been displaced living in a trailer that's probably about 50 miles away. She didn't know what she could do. So she came up here because they said we had supplies at this airport, and she asked for a chainsaw. But this organization, this outfit right here, actually has crews that go out and will remove these trees. And the church that's right there by her house has all kinds of debris, tree and everything that's blocking the entrance to it. So this organization that I'm at today specifically sent an outfit out to clear that driveway and to also assist in clearing the driveway to the church. And when this woman was told, hey, we're not going to give you a chainsaw, we're going to send a crew out to do it, she literally broke down because there's no power, there's no nothing, and she can't even get access in and out to where family members are. And she literally broke down in front of us. And it took me back a minute, because you've seen so much belief, faith, and just good American, it was incredible. It was the American way. America's coming back. And this disaster has been a stepping stone to it. So to see her actually just basically crumble and fall into herself because she was so happy and relieved that somebody was going to help her. And the insurance company came out and said there's really nothing they can do. So this is Americans helping Americans. And I'm just so honored to be a witness, to be part of it and a helping hand.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Where we started is we were helping after Helene in Tampa because they had 4.5 feet of water come up in some of the places. So the first thing we did is a big crew was organized out there, and then we joined in. We added about 8 to their crew, and we in a few days we removed all the drywall from 11 different housing units. And it was amazing because the lady was saying, trying to get people, I'll pay you, and she kept saying, and it was no, we don't want any money, that's not what we're here for, right? And she was just blown away. And the beautiful thing about this is not a liberal thing, this is not a Democrat thing, this is an American thing. Right. And we had all our shirts that said "We the People," and I have my logo that says "Screw Big Gov" on them. And she was a liberal, and she was shocked how we the people can come together faster than the government could for, and we never mentioned anything about politics the whole time we're there. But we led by example, and that's what matters with Americans and patriots, and it's a
Bingo.
beautiful thing to see right now.
Absolutely.
Lewis, I think, weren't you one of the ones that contributed money to dogs, cadaver dogs, for us to assist in search and rescue?
Yeah, in fact, there's three more that are going to head there. Three they're heading there Thursday, and I know they were having trouble getting money back from FEMA, so I just sent some money yesterday for the three that are going to be there on Thursday.
Well, I'm part of that outfit that's going to be doing the SAR with that. And I can't
excellent.
tell you how grateful it is. I know that there's a couple counties we're going to. So I will tell you the rivers are receding and the water is receding. And the quickest way to get access to find and locating the missing and to get them returned back to their loved ones, which would give them closure, is getting those dogs out there. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of all the crews out there for assisting those dogs, because they're hard to find. And if you're not getting them by order of the emergency management system or a law enforcement agency to request a lot of the dogs for purposes like that, then most people don't have the money for it. So thank you for getting those assets to us, because at one point, whether it's one person, 10 people, or 50 people, when we find those loved ones and we're able to get them back to their family so that they can have closure, excluding the friends, that's an amazing arm. And we really appreciate that funding.
Well, yeah, and it's more than funny. There's good people. I made some phone calls, and they made some phone calls, who made some phone calls, and that's what this is all about, right? We all just came together and organized this, and we have a lot more. We have a very responsive group that's watching online now, and will watch our news and our videos. So, you guys, we can talk. If you have a donation site, great, or I can mention mine, whatever you're comfortable with. I trust.
So we have a give send go. It's Red Line Initiatives, and our give send go is
red line
like firefighter.
Initiative. I just wanted everybody to hear it very clearly. It's Red Line Initiatives. Okay.
And that give send go was set up just pretty much for fuel, because we're driving 2 hours plus up into these mountains, and then we're doing what's called well-being checks. I would like to be able to say that these are just, hey, let me take your blood pressure, but a lot of times we're finding people that not alive anymore because nobody's heard from them. So the fuel that these trucks are going out and these firemen are going out and doing search and rescue, specifically recovery at this point, it's basically pretty much just for fuel expenses, because the rest of it, the firefighters and other volunteers and veterans are putting their own money in. So fuel's important.
So if you can determine, or maybe it's equal, between the cold front that seems to be coming in and the fuel, what would be the priority for you right now if we can send stuff over there?
For sending stuff, if you're going to send it to this location, what we're running into is we're getting generators. But you know what? A lot of the elderly and disabled, they can't start them. Right. So we need the electric start for some of them. And that was the big need, is that we had these big generators to give them, but nobody to pull them and start them and turn them on and off, or even, assist with that. So that is huge. With our Give Sun Go, that money is strictly just going to be used for fuel expenses, and that's getting from point A to point B. And we actually drive around too, because we have a mobile Starlink. Thank you, Elon. We have a mobile Starlink, and a lot of these places, they don't have any comm because there's no power. Yeah. So we've been taking our Starlink, and it's incredible to see them come in, and we're just staging in places for like an hour or two while we go do different missions, and letting them utilize that to at least connect loved ones. So that's a huge resource, is comm.
And I'm guessing I'm guessing for the generators, the quick start generators, you don't need anything that's high wattage. Maybe if they can run 2 or 3 appliances off of there, that's good enough, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
But an electric start here at this location, and I can get you the location here at Elk River Airport here and Banner, that's the number one need. Is because a lot of the elderly, they're on oxygen, or they just need a heater. Most of them, they just need what it takes to just until they get the power on. Okay, and they just can't do these big generators. They need an electric start.
And do you need me to find them, or do you know where to find them?
I can get back. I can follow up with you on that.
Okay,
when we're done.
So let's do that. So people watching, let's do this. Use with the link is right there in the chat, and we'll put it in the description for Red. I think she just put it in here. It's Redline Initiatives, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, there it is. Give, Send, Go, Redline Initiative. So if for fuel guys, go directly there. Don't go to my website, and that will help with the fuel. And then for the generators, because I'll do some work and I can put them on a truck and get them there, go directly to unitytour.us. Go to unitytour.us. There's several ways that you can give, even pray. Anything you can do, you can help. Go to unitytour.us, and then I'll work on the generators, and you and I will be in contact offline.
Absolutely. And I can connect you with the ops manager here that's running this whole show. I'll tell you right now, he gets it to them. They don't, these products, they don't sit in a warehouse. He's literally getting trailers and.
Love it. Cool. You froze. I don't know if you're hearing us or not. One question I want to ask Robert when he pops back on is, what do we really? There you're back now. Okay, cool. So can you give me the first name of the ops manager? I want to just figure out if I'm already talking to this person.
Yeah, his name is David.
David. Okay. I don't think I have a David out of the dozen people I'm talking to. So that would be
I'll be
awesome.
sure to get that information to you.
Please. So Wendy.
He's here.
Cool. Wendy, so we're having trouble from official sources getting the real
I'm right here. I'm sorry.
We're different places, and there's not much overlap. It's thousands, not the 200 that the mainstream media is talking about. Are you seeing the same thing?
Yes. So to speak pointedly on that, our crew actually went and did a search and rescue of a KOA that was located in Swannanoa. And they were told that there was 108 people. The whole campsite was full, and 108 people were supposedly in that campsite, and only 8 was accounted for. So we're not sure what happened to the other 100, but that's devastating. I'll send you video of that when the guys went out there. It just breaks your heart. And I will tell you, we have pictures of like cases of water and trash cans that are like 20 feet up in the trees. So there is seriously some displaced and missing people. We have dogs going out, hitting in multiple places. And the problem is that there's so much debris that is on top of them that we need like a heavy equipment, like an excavator to get it off them, because we just can't reach them. And the dogs are hitting, and we're pinging it on our sites so we can, try to see if we can get people to go back into it. I heard a story here that a handful of days ago, they found a 10-year-old under a bunch of debris because they had one of the cadaver dogs come out, and it's been a week and a half, and he was still alive. Wow. And that wasn't far from here. Incredible story. One of the medics, because we're all giving each other respite. Some of us first responders that are out there doing this, because it's hard work. I mean, we're out at 7 in the morning, 8 in the morning, and we don't come back till 7, 8, 9. So I probably won't get back to where we're at until about 11, and then we'll be back out in the morning.
Wow. Well, thank you for bringing up heavy equipment. It's literally something I was working on at the beginning of the show. I was texting somebody in regards to this. Guys, if you're watching, there's a huge need for heavy equipment and heavy equipment operators, skid steers, bobcats, excavators. It's just about anything that you can think of, they can use. I just got another urgent text while we were on the news for that. In close to your location, but a little bit different. So, Robert, do you have any questions? Wendy's busy, and then we can let her go.
Yeah, Wendy, is it easy enough to get stuff in there? Are you being hampered at all by the officials, the authorities, FEMA and the like?
So we don't really see them. I have not run across one FEMA person, and we've been all around Asheville, and it's just, you don't come across them. So I will tell you, I have worked with the Nat Guard as well as some of the Army that's been up here, that's been assisting, and it's been an awesome collaboration, helping each other. Nice. But I can't really comment on FEMA because I haven't run across them. Wow. I don't know how I haven't, but I haven't.
Well, maybe that's good news.
Yeah, I'm hearing that story a lot. And Some places they have some checkpoints in, and but that's very, very odd.
Wow.
Wendy, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for keeping the hammer down out there. I know one of the things you guys have to do is you have to take some rest, or you'll be lost for at least 2 weeks. You know what I mean? And I know that's very important. So every time I'm talking to rescue workers, I guess just remember, get some of the rest, because you're going to be out longer than not if you don't. So God bless you. Send me everything you need and all the information we were just talking about. And Robert and myself will work very hard and diligently through operations and people we know to see what we can do to help on this side.
Thank you both, and I'll get you in contact with David here, the op, because I know they could use the electric start generators.
Excellent. Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate
Thank you, Wendy.
God bless you guys.
God
God
bless you
bless you.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, she doesn't see any FEMA. That is fascinating. But good news.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably why they're getting so much work done.
Yeah, they're getting it done. They're getting in there. Yeah, the stories that we're hearing, things up 20 feet, 30 feet, if the river goes up by 20 feet, I mean, it's not survivable. I don't
It's
care who
not.
you are, that's not survivable. Plus the water
No.
coming down the mountains at the speed and, the viscosity of the water is very, very heavy. You're not going to fight for long against it. And yeah, and plus you're in water with debris everywhere. It's not like
That's what
swimming
I
in
was
the
going to
ocean,
mention.
right?
That's the point I was going to mention. This is not like if you're in the middle of a lake in 20 feet of water, or even a rushing river of 20 feet of water. You're in a river that is at going at a higher velocity than any other river based on the terrain, filled with mud and houses and wood and nails and da da da. It's not survivable.
No.
The only way and you can be Michael Phelps. It is not survivable. The only way you survive is you get lucky and it pushes you to an area that gets you up on land or gets you to grab another tree and get out there. Other than that, you are done. And what I'm hearing is a lot of the rescue, or I'm sorry, not rescue efforts, remain efforts are downstream really far where it's ended, because that's where the people would have ended up. And unfortunately, what happens though is the people end up there and all the debris is piled up and up and up and up and up and up.
Yep.
And I did get two reports today in regards to cadaver dogs. One is that they're getting hits, but it's so far down, they don't have the equipment to move everything. So now with the 3 dogs, we're trying to arrange about 6 to 8 firefighters to follow them so they can get to work immediately with the equipment and equipment operators. It's harder to pull some bodies out than it is people that are alive, because number one, they're not talking back, right? But number two, what I've just heard too, I just got a report today, they're doing white tags on where the dogs are getting hits, but they don't see anything. They're doing white tags on those areas, which means the excavators have to come back in there. And they say they're putting dozens and dozens, probably hundreds of them all over the place right now. And that's sad. That's because the cadaver dogs are getting a hit, but they're too mixed in the mud and the murk to do anything about it. So all they can do is put a flag there, and they have to go back to those places. It is madness. And folks, go to unitytour.us and see how you can help. We're not always asking for money. Sometimes it's effort. Sometimes it's phone calls. Sometimes it's logistics. Sometimes it's praying. If you have the funds, God, please send them. They need them. But if you don't, you may still be able to help. Go to unitytour.us. And if I haven't gotten back to you yet, I have a time frame scheduled tomorrow morning where I'm going through all the messages I haven't returned yet. So tomorrow morning or afternoon, you can expect a call or a text message back. And my phone number's on there too.
It's got to be hard to get the excavating equipment into those areas too, because it's really, really muddy still, and with all that debris, there's no support for those heavy machinery.
Well, that's why they're asking for skid steers and bobcats. Yeah, for that exact reason. Now, I was in construction. I've done a lot of work in construction. It was heavy construction, so I understand skid steers, bobcats, and excavators. And I can tell you, the one place that no crew would work ever is in mud. And this is where these people have to work,
Yeah.
is in mud. Because you're virtually it from a financial standpoint, it makes no sense to put your crews and your equipment in mud because it's just inoperable. So we would do everything. We would create gullies and trying to drain off the water underneath the mud and slowly peel back the mud. And it is very, very, very hard. So you can imagine what they're going through because crews would refuse mud jobs virtually every time, especially heavy equipment operators, because it was just so hard to work in.
And she was saying the rivers have begun to recede. I'm like, wow, this is, what, 10 days later or longer?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, and I'm very concerned about the cold front coming in, by the way.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern. And I started hearing about this about a week ago because I watched about a week and a half ago, actually, I watched the goods requested went from A to heaters, right? So I was kind of in the mix to that, and that was an interesting transition. I was like, that's scary. So
Well, it was below freezing apparently there last night. She said they're expecting snow, so that is not a good sign. And those generators, when it comes to heaters are 1,200, 1,500 watts for those little portable heaters. You need a sizable generator to power that.
yeah, you do. There's a way around it, and this is I'm going to help them work on it because there is a way around it. There's some lower watt versions of things you can do, and they are considering propane right now also,
Yeah.
which is a possibility, but that can be a danger also. So it has to be managed
Well,
properly.
there's no infrastructure left for them to just, hey, they're going to turn on the power in a few days. It's not like what's going on in Florida. You put up a couple of lines and, people got power again. There's no infrastructure there. There are no poles. Everything's been taken down. And, all the transformers are gone and everything. I mean, you have to, it's going to be months before they can get in there and restore power. So the question
Yeah.
then becomes, would they not be better to try and get those people out of those areas at this point?
Well, they are doing a lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one of the challenges that we always see with this though, Robert. People, the only thing they have left is where they're living.
Right.
And they may have lost half their home and they still want to stay in the half that's left.
Hmm.
It is extraordinary tragic. The psychology behind this is not even something I think we can wrap our heads around.
Right.
Um, but and many people have no place to go to. And unfortunately, what I'm not seeing very many places outside of the destruction area opening their doors up and saying, "Hey, come on over here." It's
What, you
it's
mean the government's not paying for hotel rooms for them for 2 years?
yeah, it's
Giving
a
them
good
free
point.
rent?
I wasn't even talking about the government, but wouldn't that be a no-brainer?
Yeah. Well, they're doing it with
You
our
know,
illegals. I think
yep.
California is set to spend $30 billion on illegals this year.
Yeah, amazing if imagine if we took 100 bus loads of illegals and put them back where they first came from, right? And took them out of their government paid housing that they're in now, and you put three people in each one of those houses. I just did the quick math. That's 12,000 people that you can house in those
Yeah.
places
Yeah.
pretty quickly. Because you put three in a room, four in a room, no problem.
It's a government against the people now. It's I think Emma Robinson said it's a communist takeover, and it certainly feels that way. If you look at what's going on in these areas, it's crazy to think that our government, we throw money at other countries no matter what's going on. We give them money, we give them money, we give them money. Happens in our backyard and nothing. We hands off. Crazy.
Yep. Real
Yeah.
quick, Hobbit, I'm reading your chat, and yeah, if you go to unitytour.us, there is a way to connect with me if somebody wants to um, make arrangements or do anything to get skid steers down there. And again, I'm going to tell people if I get a text message or a phone call and it's not disaster related, I will just hang up on you. That's the only thing that phone number is for right now.
Yep. Exactly right. I'm with you there, Lewis. There's just a bunch of things. Hey, I want to just take a pause for a moment before we jump on. We've got a few more stories that we can cover. And thank our buddy Matt Geiger for sponsoring the Unity Tour and also helping us with this show as well. If you're thinking about investing in gold and silver, now would be a good time to do that. Converting your IRA or 401k, that sort of rhymes, doesn't it? Maybe that's why I struggle with it. Call Matt at 480-717-9081 or go to veritymetals.com and you could find out more. There's actually a button there now that Matt has where you could schedule an appointment. So when you call him, you know he'll be sitting by the phone waiting for your phone call. Very easy to talk to. He'll answer any of your questions. And absolutely no hard selling, no pressure to do anything. In fact, if he can't help you, he'll send you to somebody who can. He has no problem doing that. So we thank Matt for his support of our show.
Awesome. Hey, I got a video. What I'd like to talk about. This is one of the different perspective on the Trump boat rally. Mm-hmm. where the Nazis showed up. So I want to show it because this really will tell people the game that is played, and I'll be able to reference it right back to J6.
You're sharing with audio, right?
Ever.
Masks.
There you go. Bingo.
Yep.
You never see masks.
Yep.
And what do we see in there? Mask after mask after mask. So these are infiltrators. These are people playing a game. And it's disgusting because they can't find real dirt, so they have to create something that doesn't even exist.
Yep.
And it's the same thing. What do they do at J6? We caught them right before they're ready to infiltrate. They all put on their MAGA hats.
Yep.
Right. So it's the jig is up for these guys. And why would they wear a mask? They wouldn't have anything to be afraid of. Right.
Unless they do.
Unless they're not Trump supporters.
Yep. Well, speaking of masks, we know the mandates are coming back here, but did you know they're also coming back now in Texas?
What?
Yeah. Mask mandates are back in Texas. They're circumventing the law by...
Where is this in Texas? That doesn't even make sense.
I know. Northwest Houston Surgical Specialty Care.
Oh, there you go. Houston. There you go. Yep. We know Houston. I've tagged Houston as a demonic city years ago. They're on the top of my list, top 3 if I remember correctly. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. All right. I think
we should call it Mama. Make America masked again.
Make America masked again. Oh boy. I don't know if I want that to go around. Let's not create
Mama.
that slogan.
Let's go, Mama.
Oh, brother. I think we need to focus on the 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is the election coming up.
I'm not that fat. That's not very nice of you.
21 days now. 21 days as of today, right?
Hi.
Yeah. So this is the latest that we're seeing, presidential election winner. This is from Polymarket. They got Trump at 56 and Kamala at 43. So there you go. They're predicting a Trump win. Now, of course, I think all of us would say, well, of course he's going to win if the election is fair and transparent, which we know it won't be. And here's my question for you, Lewis, is no matter what the result is, regardless of who they claim as the winner, is anybody going to trust this election? Did he campaign? He didn't have to. People were supporting him. I'm like, really? If people were supporting him, wouldn't they have shown up to the rallies? Oh, those, you don't have to show the masks and nobody wanted to go out. I'm like, well, they went out for Trump. Trump had huge rallies. They all showed up. And you just couldn't reason with them because their guy won and they don't want to hear about it. And they're still in that boat right now if you talk to them. It's like, no, you keep saying he was illegitimate. Well, let me ask you a question. Harris. She won the primary, didn't she? Oh, wait a minute. There was none. They installed her, wiping out the way it's supposed to work. We're going to just forget about all the rules. Nope. Do you think this was planned ahead of time? Do you think this was planned like a year or two before?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Of course. Well, we mentioned it here
that
he would never make it. He would never make it. It's ridiculous. But let's see what's going to happen. As you said at the beginning of the show, everybody's waiting for November 5th. I think it gets messier after November 5th, but let's just go ahead and wait.
I think
We've
she
got
is absolutely the ideal. The deep state could not want a better candidate than her. She is absolutely perfect. She doesn't think for herself. She doesn't have her own opinions about anything. She's just like a clean slate. You can see they're going to do everything they can to install that. They do not want somebody who thinks for themselves in there.
So here's where I could debate you because I disagree 100%. I think the perfect candidate is somebody that does everything they want, but has charisma and knows how to speak and can think on a dime. Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, somebody like that. I think that's their perfect candidate.
That's probably what's missing with her. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they would ever settle for Kamala Harris, and that's why I keep figuring out. I think that she could be run by a different entity, and I'm not going to say the white hats because I listen to people say as fact. They don't have a fact. They don't know that. I see how they can speculate. I'll tell you why I speculate it's the white hats, because these are the two biggest bumbling idiots we've ever had. And she put on a what is perceived as a pedo on as a vice president nominee. The Democrats aren't stupid. The deep state's not stupid. I don't think they would do that. Therefore, I say the white hats are probably running the show when it comes to that. Or I also heard a long time ago, and I really didn't think this was true, Robert, at the time, and I'm wondering if there's something to it. That President Trump said, "You guys do whatever you're going to do. We're going to do whatever we're going to do, right? But ultimately, we're going to take you down and expose you." But I heard that there was a couple rules laid out, certain things that they could not do. I don't know if it's just getting it down to the end right now or not. And that's why you see all the weather warfare and so on and so forth, because you see clear deep state action at the highest level right now. That the White Hats, I sure hope they're not in control of that. I don't think they are. And let's talk about that. How many people are running around right now saying North Carolina was flooded? So they flooded out the dams and all these children are pouring out of there. I go, well, that message in itself is contradictory. So they flooded out the drums to drown the children that they're supposed to be saving? Is that what you're saying?
That's what they're saying. I've seen that too.
And people are forwarding the messages around, and I'm like, can you just please read it and use your discernment before you forward a message like that? Because think about it. You're saying that the white hats are flooding out the dams. Because why? Because they want to save children that they're drowning in the dams and are pouring out of there. How did those two things go together? This is when are you going to stop forwarding a message like that and go, wait a second, something doesn't add up here. Yep. Go like, I wonder, but no, they're forwarding it up. People I know. And I'm just like, I just can't believe it. I'm just like, it's so irresponsible. Play it out. All I'm asking people to do is play it out in your head before you forward something like that, because you're literally talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're saying the white hats are doing
is looking at Harris in the same way I was looking at Biden. There's no fear on Biden's side at all that he wasn't campaigning. There was no fear. It was like, it's in the bag. I got this. I don't have to do anything. And Harris,
he even said he said ahead of time that we got this.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, we don't need a campaign. We've got this."
And I see the same thing with Harris now. It's the same thing. She's got the same nonchalantness about her, and she doesn't really care about doing interviews or unless they're to her standards and pre-recorded, and they have the ability to take pieces out and re-edit them like they did with 60 Minutes and the fake Brett Baer that's doing the interview tonight. It doesn't seem like there's any panic on their side about the fact that the numbers don't work for her at all. There's no real path forward for her. But there's no fear. There's no fear there.
There is a forward path.
Well, that's what I mean. That's the only thing that makes sense. Is that exactly that they will
exactly right.
They will install her, and it's kind of worrisome to see it because, well, I guess like you said yesterday, we have to prepare physically. We also have to prepare emotionally, as one would say, for the gut punch, and the gut punch could very well be this election. It could very well be something happens there. Now, do you know anything about the sentencing with Donald Trump that's supposed to happen November 24th, 2 days before
No, but
Thanksgiving?
yeah, no, I don't. But I do know something about the appellate court that's been looking at all this stuff.
Right. They're ready to throw it
So,
out.
but they don't want to do it until after the election.
Hmm.
That's to me, that is deep state operation, and they're going to play to the side that wins for fear of retribution. Is what it looks like to me.
Well, it may be just holding on to their excuse the expression, their trump card, because they've got him right. If he doesn't win, if they can still go forward with this and still end up putting Trump in jail.
Yeah, but can he not just pardon himself?
Well, if he doesn't win, he can't. He doesn't have any power.
But right, but the only way they would use it is if he won. Why use it if he didn't win?
To stop him permanently, because he would be fighting the election if he didn't win. You know, they'd be in court. They're doing everything they can to fight it.
Oh, I think he has the apparatus to do that regardless. But you may be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny because you and I could sit here. We can come up with like 50 different scenarios of what could happen. None of us know, people. So we're not trying to tell you this is what's going to happen. Nobody knows. And if they say they know, they don't know. They're lying to you. The truth
And
is, there's so many variables at play.
I'm starting to think, and I'm not trying to upset the influencers, but we're the only two honest ones. We're the
Maybe.
only two saying, "Hey, we're doing our best. We're reading the tea leaves, and we're getting some inside information and some not inside information. We're getting false information. We're getting led astray. We're reading everything we can, and we still don't know.
Yeah.
But people don't want the truth. They want you to say unequivocally, absolutely, everything is 100% a white hat operation, or absolutely, and like we say, two things could be true at the same time, right? You can have both going on, and I think everything that we've mentioned and our assessments over the last year and a half are coming to fruition, right? And I'm not asking for credit because we're never going to get credit on something that's 3-6 months late anyways.
Right.
That's not the way it works. I just want you to know is our concern, Robert and I talk about this off air all the time. Our concern is only one thing. Are we being as authentic to we the people we can? That's it. Period. End of story. Not about the clicks. We had a long conversation about the so-called clicks today, and we gave up. We go, it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, and then the reality is you know, we live off your feedback and your sharing, and you're telling us, you know, you're sharing the stories with us that you share, and you know, when you tell us, hey, you guys, we like what you're sharing, you know, that's what we live off of. It. The rest of it's kind of, you know, tertiary, and it's a bonus if we make some money. If we don't make some money, you know, that's what it is for right now. We know that when this thing turns, and we will get to the other side. I know we've been in this battle now for what seems like an eternity, but it's been 4 years. We'll get to the other side of this, and we'll see. I think you guys are really going to appreciate us after November 5th, because you'll start to see, hey, you know what? There's only a few people here that have been telling us the truth rather than snowing us and hyping us and giving us false hope. I don't want to give you false hope. I want to let you know, and I think Lewis is on the same page with this. We want to make sure that you're prepared. You know, if nothing happens, there's no downside to being prepared. But if something happens, you're going to count your blessings and say, my God, thank God I was prepared. And prepared physically, prepared emotionally, right?
Yep.
And those are the harder ones. And Lewis, you talked about it on the Unity tour. You know, most of the team broke down at some point emotionally, because that's hard. That's nothing compared to what we may be facing going forward here.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And this is, we have to understand the emotional ramifications of what's going to be forward in front of us.
Yeah.
And this is not time for weakness. This is time for strength. And if you don't feel like you're strong, I think you should pray for strength, right?
Yep.
Or start listening to some of the things that are more important, right? We've been conditioned to think that money was most important thing out there, right? Well, that's the satanic realm that they're attaching us to. So money's not the most important thing, right? Your authenticity, I think, is the most important thing. What you can do to help others, or even if you just want to survive yourself, right? But we have to absolutely understand that we're coming to a point where fear is going to be rampant. And where there is fear, the deep state cabal thrives. So think about that. You're making a choice. So get prepared. I can tell you today, my wife and I just bought, geez, I don't know how many. Let me do the calculations. I don't know, 100 plus rolls of toilet paper, 20 plus rolls of um, uh, paper towels, napkins. We have a 50-gallon water filled up here, backup of food, a generator, a lot of lead, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
We have hundreds of bottles of water on the side. I mean, just everything you can possibly imagine. And this is not a fear thing. This is just if you're not going to have the fear if you're ready, right? If you just be prepared that things are going to go a little wonky, but maybe also have the knowing that things have to go through this transition to be awesome. And things are going to be awesome and absolutely beautiful. But this is a vetting out period. And it's time to pull the scab off, is what I believe.
Yeah, and I'll give you a scenario. It's like, everyone knows which side we're on. All of us listening here and watching, most of your family and friends know which side of the coin we're on. And if they install Kamala, what are you going to do? And they come up to you and they laugh in your face, "Ha ha, your guy lost." I mean, you can turn around and just slug them, or you know what I mean? And that's where it's gonna be the challenge. It's gonna be in our face. The media is gonna be all over it. They're gonna be laughing at us. They're gonna be, that kind of thing. If that goes in that direction, you got to be prepared to handle that and respond in a way that is mature and intelligent, not respond out of anger, right? Because that's going to be the first inclination for a lot of people. You don't want to slug your spouse because she's a Kamala fan and you're a Trump fan. That's not going to help. That's going to make the division even worse. So how do you handle that situation? Well, now's a good time to figure that out and realize if it goes that direction, we are going to see that.
Yeah, but we have the wherewithal within inside of us to get through anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surrounded with people often that live their life in fear, and it saddens me for them because there's no way forward in this war for somebody that is can't get out of their own way. And I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm just saying there are choices that people can make to live a better life. And we're going to start doing some more personal development stuff right here on this channel to see if we can help facilitate that. Not that Robert and I are better. We've just been doing this for, a combined over 50 years plus, I'm sure, working on certain personal development things. So if we can transmute, no, I don't know what the word is. If we can get the information out there concisely in just a few minutes where people can say, "Oh, this one makes sense." I can draw on this, and that's why I use the fear referencing the battle tanks and fuel so much, because so many people gravitate to that.
Right.
I'll tell the story about how important it is to have heavy oil versus light oil. People gravitate to that message. There's many messages that we've learned over the years that are really helping people, and like you're getting a lot of messages on just a little thing you did on social media.
Yep.
And people seem to love that. So a lot of our programming, not programming in the way that Hollywood wants to do it, but a lot of our show moving forward will be in respect to see how we can make a difference, helping our mindset. I think we can call it something to do with mindset. I don't know. That Bruce kind of has that Mindset Mondays, but we'll figure something out.
Motivational minute. I like that. We'll come up with something we both like.
Oh, and I do want to, somebody just reminded me, they said, reminder, you have a hot water tank full of water. That's absolutely true. That's great. But there's another thing. So what my family knows, one of the first things you do if there's a disaster, immediately drain all the water into your bathtubs. There's still water in the pipes, just so you know.
Yep.
Right? And oftentimes there's still going to be pressure there too. So if you could fill up 2 or 3 bathtubs filled with water, that's a big deal. That'll help you a long, long ways with survival.
Awesome. Hey, I've been doing a fair bit of research this week on a supplement called berberine, and kind of impressed. I kind of resold myself on it, although I've been very sold on it to begin with. But some of the things that I'm finding that it does, it just kind of blew my mind. And we want to do a little commercial here for our buddy Lance. Lance has got a great company, Ascent Nutrition, and berberine is one of the supplements that he sells. And I got to tell you something, if you have not tried berberine in your diet, something to take a look at. I'm going to have the report out. It'll probably be ready for you guys next week. We'll let you know, and then we'll send you to a web page where you can download it. It'll be free for you. But the berberine is kind of interesting. It's the master metabolic switch, and metabolism is why people gain weight, right? As when the metabolism slows down, the food you're eating doesn't get burned and doesn't get turned into fuel. This helps with it, with that process. And it also helps reduce blood sugar. So if you're a little insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, that kind of thing, 2 capsules before every meal is what's recommended, and it will help your body deal with the blood sugar spikes that happen after eating. So it supports the healthy blood sugar. It helps metabolism. It helps with the gut microbiome, which I didn't know. So it really helps the gut bacteria. Gut bacteria is where the foundation is of your immune system. You say, why am I getting sick all the time? It's your gut. And this helps with that. Revitalizes energy and assists with healthy weight maintenance. So you can go screwbiggov.com/health, screwbiggov.com/health. And I would give that a try. I think it is a fabulous supplement. And as I say, I'm reselling myself on it because there are things I did not know that this herb does. So there's a lot of good stuff that we're going to learn from it.
Well, I love the symbiosis. My wife and I just had a long discussion on berberine this morning. So that's pretty awesome.
Awesome. So you'll be taking 2 before every meal too, huh?
I am a fatty.
You are a fan. I am glad to hear that.
No, I said I'm a fatty.
Oh, you're not a fatty. Nobody's a fatty. Not in this household.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, we got to get together in person soon. We haven't seen you since the San Diego stop on the Unity tour. So
I know.
We'll make that happen.
I definitely need a break. It's so funny how many people I get text messages. I hope you're enjoying your time off. I go, clearly you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah. Did you happen to see the 50 live streams we did in 33 days?
Exactly. Yeah.
And what you guys didn't, maybe recognize is I didn't move. I was in the studio the whole time. I was at the house, and the studio's at the house now, and not a big deal. But between those stops, these guys were on the road for 4 and 5 hours. They didn't rest. They didn't sleep. They had 2 RVs, so they were switching off drivers. Maybe they got a little nap here and there, but Lewis was also, while they were driving, doing interviews.
That's right.
Right? So you talk about there's no rest. Boy, that was a wild ride for the team. I heard the stories, and Esther failing again and again and again, and now she's been retired. She won't be on any more tours going forward because, boy, that was a little bit too much. But yeah, you guys fought through and did a great job. And I know there's a lot of accolades, a lot of people watching the live streams, and we saw it in the chat, we saw it in the comments. So we thank you all for participating in that experience, because it was quite something.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be home. I still haven't slept yet. I don't know what's going on, but I'll figure that one out.
Well, here's a video of a woman who thought this guy was following her and was giving him a real hell.
Leave me alone. Why do you keep following me? It's honestly so creepy, and I'm going to call the cops. Okay?
Ma'am, no.
Because you guys aren't leaving me alone, and that's why women can't go out in the world by themselves, because of guys like you.
What?
Okay? So stop following me.
You have... I don't know if you have like gas. You have a thing hanging out of your car.
What are you talking about?
There's literally a gas hose hanging out of your car. No one's being creeped. Oh, no, thank you. I guess.
Thank you,
there's the thank you. That's. She's what? She's taking it with her.
She doesn't have. Make sure to get all of it.
Wow, dude. You didn't even close the gas can.
She's out of here.
Oh boy. Have we seen that before, Lewis?
Okay. Number one, I appreciate what she was doing, believe it or not, because I think these creepos have to be confronted. She just had it all wrong.
Right.
That's the problem. And I'm going to tell you, full disclosure, people are going to love this. I've done that before.
Oh boy, really?
I
Wow.
literally drove off before, and I can tell you this so much so that they have a clip on there that it breaks intentionally, and then you can replace it. I drove off. I backed up. I said, "Sorry, dude." He says, "Normally it's $175." He goes, "But you're very cool. We'll take it for free." And they re-put the fitting on there, a new fitting and all this. So yes, I've done that. I want to see everybody else in chat that will admit to doing that also, because I don't think I'm the only one, but I was probably distracted as usual, and or on a phone call, who knows, and I just took off without it. You could hear it, by the way. It goes,
Oh,
"Wee?"
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that.
I'm
And I go,
sure.
"What the hell?" And I looked in the rearview mirror and I'm like, "Oh my God." I felt like an instant teenager.
She got the whole hose though. I'm like, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, I'm not
thing
quite
to
sure
lose.
because they're supposed to break off.
Yeah.
So I don't know where hers broke off at.
But why didn't she see it when she jumped out of the car to confront the
I
guy?
was thinking the same thing. So could it be a setup? You know how a lot of these videos are set up? How did she not see that? Or maybe she's just so fired up mad she didn't even notice it. She just thought it was something on the ground. I don't know.
Yeah, and then she didn't close her gas cap on the way out of there too. It's like, okay, she was so humiliated, I guess, at that point. But
Yep.
yeah, I guess he got a thank you. I think I heard a thank you there at the very end.
Oh, did she say thank you?
I think
I
she
didn't
did
know
when
that.
she was jumping in the car. I think she screamed thank you and then took off.
That is hilarious. She was probably so embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm sure. God, crazy stuff. But this is the world we live in. I've seen this happen a few times. I've seen people driving with the gas filler
Oh, yeah?
out of their car on the highway. I'm like, how could you not know that you did that? It must have made some kind of noise when you ripped it off the gas pump.
That we're having many people say they've done it.
Oh,
Oh, I
really?
feel so much. Feel so much better
Oh,
about myself.
vindicated.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Craziness. All right. As we move closer, guys, we're feeling out the society here and trying to feel. We understand you're fearful. We understand people are taking a deep breath right now and maybe holding their breath a little bit as we get closer to this election. We're going to try to be here for you as much as we can, and certainly reach out and share your thoughts, your comments below the video, or jump on our Telegram channels and certainly jump into the conversations there. I'm posting on a regular basis in the Renegade Media Telegram channel, so news that we may not cover here is probably going to be covered there. You'll see stories posted. So instead of you having to run all over the place, you got one channel you can follow, and that'll give you, kind of the overview of the bigger stuff that's going on. Lewis, anything else you want to add to the day before we wrap up?
TikTok. Oh, yeah. So, guys, make sure you go to unitytour.us to support disaster relief. We're doing great work. I'm very proud of everybody that's involved. I was up at 6 this morning on the text message and phone calls and dealing with this stuff. So we're dealing with it. Kudos to everybody involved. We're going to get through this, but freedom is in action, and that's what's really cool. In addition to that, Thursday we have two good shows. Robert and I are going to be interviewing Ethan Lucas on some biblical things and a technology breakthrough that's going to blow your mind, which is really cool. That will be Thursday, I believe, at 7:30 Eastern, so right about this time if you're watching live. And before that, Alan Fountain and I are going to do our regular show on Thursdays prior to that, called Two Dudes Chillin'. So that'll be awesome also. And then Robert and I will be back here tomorrow with news, views, and conspiracies, and hopefully some high vibes. That's what we promise. We're going to bring you some high vibes and try to keep our energies up on the way to this interesting time that we have in front of us. The next month is going to be pretty incredible, Rob.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mentioned, at the beginning we talked a lot about the AI, and you said, "Why are you guys talking about that?" Well, Lewis and I do believe we need to be educated on this stuff because hey, it's there. People say, "I don't want to be computer literate. I don't want to be computer literate." Well, great. How do you operate in today's society when you run into a
Yeah.
computer wherever you go? You pump gas, it's a computer. You go to check out of your grocery store, it's a computer. You go to the ATM, it's a computer. If you're not computer literate at least a little bit, you're going to be lost. And I think AI is going to be the next generation of that. It's going to be everywhere. We're going to be speaking to the robots. So it's a good idea to learn not exactly how it works, but have a good idea of what it is, so you're not in fear around it when you encounter it. Because, Lewis called up a fast food place and he ran into it. It's going to be there with us. So,
Yeah, it's crazy. Or maybe they don't have to learn shit because the AI is going to be so sophisticated they don't have to learn anything about computers anymore.
I'm telling you, all the years of writing marketing copy, for me, I'm going on. There's adcreative.ai I'm using to write ads. I'm doing this ad for this company, and I just went in and I said, "Here's the homepage, here's the product page," and it said generating ads, and within minutes, 50 ads done, better than I can have written. I was blown away. I'm like, "What the?" I
This
guess my
conversation
copywriting skills are
pisses my
gone.
youngest son off so much. Oh God, he gets so angry at this because he believes that we're taking all the work away from anybody that's creative, and it's really upsetting him.
Yeah.
And I see where he's coming from because he sees a future where there's no creativity anymore.
People said that too when cameras were invented in the early 1900s, the Kodak Brownie, right? The artists got upset and they said, "Well, you won't have need for our talent anymore." But you can see both have coexisted. To this day, you still need the artist. You still need the one who can paint. So I don't
Yeah.
know that it's